4 great tips for an amazing QHHT session. And this can also be used for PSP or regression healing or BQH. It doesn't matter. Any of these types of hypnosis where we summon the subconscious mind, these tips will work for them. And these were created by Suzanne Spooner, who is a level 3 QHHT practitioner. And this is taught to us all at level 2 training. And so the first tip is that what we're going to be doing in the beginning is the practitioner will ask you to visualize some things. And so tip number 1 is to see these things in as much detail as possible. And of course, if you can't see them, then imagine that you can. So see a pink elephant. So if you're to see a pink elephant, if you can't actually see a pink elephant, just pretend that you can see a pink elephant. And if you have problems with visualization, I have another video about how to visualize, and I'll put a link to that right here. So if you got problems with visualizing, make sure you watch that. So tip number 1 is to visualize and see these things in as much detail as possible. And I'll add on to that is that if you can't visualize, it's just to pretend that you can. Tip number 2 is to, when the practitioner asks you a question, the first thing that pops in your mind, just say that. Just let it come out. So whatever the very first thing is that comes into your mind, let it come out, and that is the right answer. When you start to doubt or question whatever you're thinking, that is when the critical thinking mind gets in the way and interrupts the flow. So just start in as much detail as possible. Just talk and say the very first thing that comes to mind. And number 3 is to see in as much detail as you can. And so when you are visualizing, let's say you're doing a past life regression, then do your best to see as much detail as possible. And tip number 4 is to talk and talk a lot. So the more that you talk, the more detail that you're going to get. And as you talk more and more, then this will allow you to get more data, more information. The amount of data that comes to you is limited by your outflow. So the more that you can say, the more that's going to come to you. And the more detail that you let it be in, the more detailed it's going to be for you. Whether that's the past life regression and explaining the things that you see, or if it's just questions and you're answering your questions. And the more that you talk and the more detail that you give, the better off that you'll be. So those are the 4 great tips to have a great session. So congratulations on making that decision to have that session, and make sure that you enjoy your session when you do it. So thanks for tuning in, and until next time, have a good one.